the weakest part of society, right? Naturally, there's a vacuum that you need to fulfill. How do you find value? And supposedly we're so weak, then maybe we can only find value in comparison to those who are perceived as strong. So what happened? Women started to find value in relationship to men. If a man can work outside, I need to work outside.
Yeah.
If a man can dress in a particular way, I need to work in that particular way, right? So what happened is your value as a female, you started to judge it in relationship to man.
Mm-hmm.
Islam doesn't teach that.
It teaches instead to God, not to men.
Exactly. And in relation to God, man and woman are absolutely equal, right? The Holy Quran particularly says that a man and woman were created from the same source, right? And fundamentally, this ability to stand up to the occasion for the sake of God, it's technically equally found within man and woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? The desire to reflect God, right? The desire to have a relationship with Him, right? Similarly, the Holy Quran actually states, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, that fundamentally, a man and woman have fundamentally equal rights, right? So if you have a right to an education, a woman has a right to an education. If you have a right to healthcare, she has a right to healthcare, right? If you have, a right to your freedom to your belief, she has a right to that as well, right? Ultimately, and there's many narrations of the Holy Prophet ﷺ which point this out, that a woman should be educated, and a woman should be, particularly a man is told, a father is told, that those of you, if you have both a boy and a girl, and you treat your girl fairly, just as you treat your boy, then you'll be with me in the heavens like this, right? This close to me, because you treated your daughters correctly and you educated, etc. But what I'm saying is, ultimately what's happened is women started to find their value in relationship to man instead of in relation to God. But do you know what the Holy Quran says? Again, because God is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and man and human beings in general, He also acknowledges وَلَيْثَ ذَكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى, that a man ultimately is still different to a woman.
And this
right?
being different, this is biologically, we have
Absolutely.
different features, we have different sort of mentalities.
Absolutely. Because look at it this way, right? Let's again constantly try and focus on the idea that you need to reflect the attributes of God in some way or another. There are certain ways in which women can reflect the attributes of God that a man, even if he wanted to in his wildest dreams, he couldn't. Right? There's an attribute of God which is Rabb, in other terms, or Rububiyat, right? Which is basically, He is the nourisher and the sustainer of the universe and everything that's in existence. Right? A woman brings a child into existence. A woman has an attachment with that child while the child is in her stomach for 9 months. Only a woman is able to be a mother to a child and show that child the affection and intimacy that child needs, that a man in his wildest dreams just couldn't. And what do you think that is? That's an expression of God's attributes, something that a man cannot express even if he wanted to, right? So fundamentally, right, if we understand this point, then I don't need to find value in myself trying to compare myself to a woman. A woman does not need to find value in comparison to a man. There's enough value inherently within you in relationship to God, right? And that's where the problem is today. Because, well, one, you got rid of God. Then you had this campaign to try make women similar to men. What's happening today? Well, maybe the men should be a bit more similar to women. Right? So now you've got equal pressure. That, well, actually, because you don't have a moral objective standard, or maybe we should do this too now. Maybe you should be a bit more like women now, isn't it? And then you just have this widespread confusion.
So it's like, in essence, what we've ended up, women trying to be like men, men trying to be like women. No one knows what the true identity is, and it's sort of all over the place. So when you bring masculinity into the equation, of course, it's going to seem toxic.